The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...
Ayo, Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah. J. Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is J. Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, yeah.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to ReverbRewind. Welcome to Wrestling Reverb. Welcome to us trying to raise some money for the Red Cross Australia and Wires New South Wales, which assists in wildlife. And we are going to be, you can donate. You can see all the links on the screen that you need to see if you would like to donate directly, or you can scroll down right here on Twitch, find the tip jar. You will be directed to a Streamlabs donation page where you can donate via PayPal. All that money will be divided up in the equal at the end of this stream, so don't worry about all that. I'll post everything on Twitter so you'll be able to see. Welcome to everybody here in the chat. Kevin is here as well. Kevin, welcome to Reverb Rewind. You've been dying to have Reverb Rewind back for quite some time, but to do it in this way is pretty exciting. Kevin, how excited are you today?
God, it's no secret how much I love Reverb Rewind. This is probably my favorite thing we do here. And to have it back on such a grandiose scale, to be able to do this and raise money and raise awareness and help Australia, help our friends over across the pond is just it's a wonderful thing. I'm so excited here. And I'm fresh off watching Royal Rumble 2000. I'm excited to get started. I know you're excited to get started.
Yes, I am. We'll get to Royal Rumble 2000 in just a second. We're going to be here for a long haul, guys. It's going to be a 2-hour stream, approximately. We might run a little under, might run a little over. If you stay past the Reverb Rewind section of this stream, there will be a Q&A. But please, everyone here in the chat, thank you, Ditz and Dave. It is just... It's been a lot to deal with all of this stuff that's going on in a place that is my home, and why I'm not directly affected by any of this. It is pretty intense to see. You turn on the news, you scroll Facebook, Twitter, and everything you see is about these bushfires. It's pretty damn crazy to see all of this kind of stuff. We've had lives lost, homes lost, billions of animals have lost. So please, if you can, donate. But if you can't, please do not feel pressured to donate. A simple share on Twitter, share on Facebook, share on Instagram, wherever you are, helps us out a lot. Conrad's in the chat as well. Thank you to everyone that is here. Keep chatting along. We'll interact with you. Both Kevin and I will be active in the chat, and we'll talk to you throughout the show. There's going to be bits in between. We're going to talk about some of the statistics of these bushfires. We'll get into that soon. But before we get started with Royal Rumble 2000, because me and Kevin were briefly chatting about it in the pre-stream. It's a pretty wild show. A lot happens on this show. But to everyone this week that has supported the stuff that I've been doing with this in lead up to this, thank you very much. I've received a lot of support on this, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you that simply just liked or shared whatever this stuff that's going down, because it's the most important thing that I've done, maybe the most important thing that I'll do. If I can just raise $1 today, I'm pretty happy. There is the world is kind of helping us, and it's it's just a very nice thing to see in such a dark time. So thank you very much to all of these people that have started. Kevin, last week we had quite the show. We talked about Wrestle Kingdom, we talked about the Lana and Rusev wedding. It's been a whole week since all of that kind of stuff. First and foremost, how did you enjoy Wrestle Kingdom, both night 1 and night 2? Did you enjoy the breakup of the 2 nights? Just before we get started with Reverb Rewind, we would be kind of dumb not to talk about Wrestle Kingdom, because it was quite the couple of nights.
Yeah, we gotta get something for the New Japan fans. I'll be honest with you, Josh. I didn't like the 2-night setup. And I think I've said this before the show, so it's not like a secret. I'll probably put it on Twitter too. But I think that the spectacle of it all is more present when it's just one long night. I think it makes everything seem just a bit more important. Then, you don't have the debate over which night was stronger, which night was weaker, night 1, night 2, which show had matches of more importance, yada, yada, yada. I really like the one-night setup that's kind of what lured me in the beginning, way back in 2017. I say the beginning, it was 3 years ago. But that's what lured me in, was the fact that, Wrestle Kingdom was like this really long, crazy hour of the night show, but it has the best wrestling in the world. That's what lured me in. And the same thing with WrestleMania, where I love the fact that it's like you make a day out of it. It's an event. It's like a 7-8 hour day. It's like a work day.
Yeah.
But instead of work, you're watching wrestling with your buds. You're doing, you're having the time of your life, and that's how I feel Wrestle Kingdom should be too. I kudos to them for trying something different. I know it has people that did like it, the 2-hour setup. It's a lot easier to digest, I think, for some people, but not for me.
That's fair. Especially with you guys. Like, I unfortunately couldn't watch it live. I was working, but it's on at a standard time for me. So it's not so bad watching it over 2 nights, because it's just on at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. in the evening. So I'm really not too fussed about that kind of stuff. But for you guys, you got to get up or stay up, whatever you're going to do, to watch it. Which, I mean, some people in the world have to do that with WWE programming. So I mean, like, screw you.
Yeah, I know. I can't complain about it too much, because I know that there are plenty of people out there in the UK and Australia and overseas that have to do this like routinely for WWE. So I don't like to complain too much. That said, I couldn't stay up either night. I had to watch it after the fact too.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I watched it after it was live anyway. I watched it the day after each time. I don't know how I feel about 2 nights. What does everyone in the chat think? Everyone that watched Wrestle Kingdom, do you like the 2-night thing? Do you not like the 2-night thing? Tell us in the chat. We'll get to those comments in just a second, and you'll see them on the screen. Again, if you want to donate, you can use the links provided if you prefer to donate directly to any of these causes, or any causes that help with the aid of the bushfires. Or if you want to see your donation pop up on the screen, just scroll down, find that tip jar button. You'll be redirected to a Streamlabs page, which is a PayPal page, and you can pay any way you like to. It'll be divided up equally post-stream. I'll probably leave it open for a day or two just to see if any more donations come in. I have received some donations already, and to anyone that has donated to the Red Cross, to Wires, to the Australia Zoo, any of the fire services in this country, thank you very much. It is much, much appreciated. Conrad says that it could have been a classic one day, and he's not undecided on the two. I get what you're saying. 5 nerds go, oh my god, here we go. I don't know either. It felt like it could have been with Wrestle Kingdom, with WrestleManias and stuff like that. Like you said, Kev, I kind of appreciate that. I'll never complain about the length of a show. It could go as long as it wants, and that's what I'm expecting for these shows. So it could go 8, 9, 10 hours, and I'd be like, I know what I'm signing myself up for with these big shows. They can be as long as they seem necessary. With 2 nights, it's like you're giving up 2 nights of 4. How long did they go for, Kev? 4 hours?
Like 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. That's 8 hours. Wrestle Kingdom, I've only watched a couple. You're a bit more familiar with New Japan. What's a standard Wrestle Kingdom runtime? Was it like 5 or 6 hours?
Oh, I know last year's ran for what felt like 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah.
It's not like these were. It wasn't like a clean cut in half night 1, night 2 thing. These are both pretty. I think overall this ended up being a longer runtime if you make it cumulative than your average Wrestle Kingdom, because they did try to make both nights like Wrestle Kingdom light. They had classic matches on both nights. They had plenty of fanfare for both nights. They tried to make, like, instead of just having one big Wrestle Kingdom, they tried to make it like 2 Wrestle Kingdoms, I thought. And I'm not saying it didn't work. I thought it was fine. I prefer the one night. Yeah,
no, I understand that. Bob from Bob Culture Podcast. What a dude. He's been very, very supportive of me this week. I appreciate that very much. Smoking friend Zach, hello. Everyone, thank you for joining in the chat. Chat amongst yourselves as we are going to get started with some Reverb Rewind. Now, if anyone is not seeing that on the screen, we are talking about Royal Rumble 2000, which, Kevin, is 20 years ago, nearly to the date.
Isn't that crazy? 2000. It doesn't seem like it's that long ago, but we're as close to 2040 as we are to 2000. That's isn't that how isn't that like the
2020.
joke on Twitter?
I said this on the Josh Robinson show this week, which subtle plug did return this week. Go and check it out. It's 2020 sounds like the future. It's like we're living like it's a very futuristic number. Like when you like years and years ago when you talk about the future, it was 2020. Like Back to the Future happened around this time. I'm pretty sure. We're literally living in the future. It is crazy.
We are. Where are the flying cars, Josh?
Yeah, I know. Where are the flying cars? Where are the hoverboards? Everything. Levi, hello. It's crazy. But anyway, let's rewind from 2020 back to the year 2000. We actually did our first Reverb Rewind was on Survivor Series 99, was it not? Am I making that up?
It was Survivor Series 99, and I remember that because of Kurt Angle, and that's kind of a good segue into how this show starts.
Yeah, so Kevin, if anyone hasn't watched Reverb Rewind, Kevin's kind of the he steers the ship with the he's the one that takes all the notes. He's the one that kind of knows what happened when. I don't, because I just watch the show and then chime in how I am. So Kevin, first and foremost, the first thing that I noticed about anything before we talk about any matches is that 1-800-COLLECT thing. That is pure nostalgia. It is just
collect. I love it.
It's so like as soon as that loads up, and like something that's really WWE's product now, or maybe in the last, I want to say 15 years, has become very, for better or for worse, it's become very structured. It starts, you know what's coming next. Like it goes from opening signature to promo package to pyro to theme song to commentators to blah 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 blah. I like how I loaded this up on the network, and the first thing that I see is no signature, no nothing. It's just promo, and it's that very old WWF style opening video package that I think it is just pure nostalgia. What the video production quality wasn't better than it is now by any necessary means of the word,
No.
But it's just pure nostalgia. But that 1-800-COLLECT thing, and then the pyro, and just throughout the night, I'm going to keep saying this, the crowd was just so into this. Like, it just had a different energy than most wrestling now, especially WWE product, because this is like maybe a little bit off the prime of like peak audience WWF programming. This is like, we're right in it. We're in the McMahon Helmsley era. We're ready to go. Like, it feels different. It has a different energy. Did you feel that?
Oh my God. Whenever we go back and we watch these shows, it astounds me how different the crowd feels. And that's not a knock on today's crowds, but something about those Attitude Era crowds, man. And especially when you're in the Garden. Anytime you go to the Madison Square Garden,
Did help with
world's
that, yeah.
most famous arena, you just are blown away by how hot that crowd is. Obviously, for a Royal Rumble, they're going to bring their best. And then, this was no exception. This was a hot crowd, the perfect crowd for this kind of show. And they really, that's the first vibe you get is the crowd noise at the beginning of the show when they kick off the top. And this set a very good vibe. Yeah,
definitely. I agree completely. It is just, oh man, it just had a different energy. It just had such a good vibe. I was just smiling throughout the whole time. Here's a little fact that I didn't know. This is actually the first pay-per-view that my brother and I ordered as a kid. He said, if you remember, this is the first ever pay-per-view we ordered. So it's not the first pay-per-view I ever watched. I'm sure I watched others on VHS tape or whatever, or just whatever, however we used to watch it. But I can have I have the slightest memory of it, but I don't really remember that much. But yeah, it's the first pay-per-view we ever ordered. So hey, this has, I guess, a different meaning attached to this for me because it's the first pay-per-view I ever watched live.
Yeah, it's got some personal significance to it. I like that.
It's a pretty good. We'll get to each thing, but it's a pretty fun show. I mean, a lot of these shows, that would be the word to describe a lot. You know what I mean? Conrad, Thank you for the $10. Thank you very, very, very much. Much appreciated. First tip of the night.
Look at the graphic that popped up there. There's like a cat with some spinning eyeglasses.
I got it all.
Holy shit.
I didn't change it at all. It's the default graphic. You know.
I love that. That is amazing. Conrad, thank you so much, my man.
Yeah, thank you, Conrad, for that. It's much appreciated. But yeah, so what do we kick things off with here on the Royal Rumble 2000 show?
So like I mentioned before, the first Reverb Rewind we did, I think it was the first, was Survivor Series 99, which featured the debut of one Curtis Angle.
Yes.
And tonight, we're talking about Kurt Angle kicking off the Royal Rumble, running down the New York Knicks, as good heels do. The Knicks were in the midst of a title drought they're still in. So Kurt Angle runs down the hometown crowd. He says he has a match tonight. He's going to be the champion that New York City needs. And then, Josh, who's he facing? Who's coming out here?
Well, the crowd seemed to want it. The crowd were chanting for this dude, and that first boom, 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 and I was like, oh shit! Like, I remembered who it was, of course, and when the crowd is chanting, I'm like, okay, it's Taz. What an energy! And that music is so... I don't talk about that theme music enough. We don't talk about themes enough between us two in general, but that theme is so damn good. It's so damn good.
Taz is great. And I'll be honest, I didn't remember who was coming out.
Really?
I didn't remember how the show started. Again, we were both young, but I wasn't really watching wrestling at the time. Yeah, that when Taz comes out, I was like blown away.
Yeah.
Like I forgot Taz's timeline with the WWF. You know, he was obviously in ECW for a long stretch of time.
Yeah.
He shows up, and we get a match between Taz and Kurt Angle, which on paper just has me salivating.
I mean, yeah.
Unreal. Two of the very best technical wrestlers of their era squaring off.
Yeah, and we also got BJ in the chat. He says, Faust says hello. Hello, BJ. How are you doing? It's the whole match. The match didn't run for very long. You're usually my numbers guy. How long did this match go for?
This match went for about 3.5 minutes only.
That was the thing in the Attitude Era, though. Everyone talks about time these days, and like things need to get time, and you can't say a story in 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Everything needs 8, 9, 10, 12, 30, whatever.
That wasn't true.
That's not the case. I've always been a thing of like, it doesn't... If you have 2 minutes, you have 2 minutes to go out there and do something. It doesn't necessarily... Of course, you're not going to have the most technical classic match in 2 minutes, but a lot of the matches in the Attitude Era, it's very different from now. It's less focused on wrestling back then. There was still great matches. There was still great workers. There was still great everything. But now it's much more focused on the in-ring stuff. Thank you, 5 Nerds Go, for the $10. Much appreciated. Much love to you.
There's that cat again.
There's that cat. Meow. So it's you have 3 minutes. You said 3 minutes this run for. It's like
3:15.
That's 3 minutes and 15 seconds where that crowd did not sit down for the entire time.
I know, and the thing is, the thing is, with a match this short, you don't have the rest periods. You don't need the rest periods to go this long. Both these guys are they're finely tuned athletic machines. They're so capable of going 3 minutes nonstop, and that's what they did.
Yeah,
it wasn't long. It didn't blow you away, but it was pretty damn solid. I enjoyed it.
Conrad, I agree. They really blew momentum with Taz. Yeah, they had a lot. Seemed like they had lightning in a bottle with Taz in a lot of regards, and I don't know. I can't tell you exactly because I don't remember exactly, but he didn't do a lot, and then was just on commentary not too long after that. So,
that's what I mean when I say that I forgot Taz's timeline in the WWF, is because he didn't really do much of note, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, he was over as all batshit though. Like that first, you can't really ask for a better reaction for a debut than that. Like he was loved.
No, he blew the roof off the Madison Square Garden.
MSG. If you're over in MSG, you're over in the world. That's how I kind of see it, anyway. And
to be that over with that crowd is, as a debuting superstar, is insane. Like, oh, Conrad, you're right. They really did blow it with Taz. As much as I loved him on commentary, he was great on commentary, but he could have done so much more within his WWF run. And with a start like this, of course, he did. And this is something they made a big point about on commentary, and I'm sure you noticed it as well. Did he tap out Kurt Angle or did he choke out Kurt Angle?
Yeah, because was it an illegal choke? Like JR was real mad. JR
Yeah.
was real mad because it was an illegal. Was it an illegal choke? And then the referee called for the arms because he was choked out. We'll talk about Kurt Angle. He comes back a little bit later. Anyway, but Taz did win regardless. Taz did get the I guess a win with a question mark. I guess you could say. But honestly, that was a perfect way to start off that show because that was a fun 3 minutes. It
was hot.
It could have went longer and I wouldn't even, like, it was so hot it didn't matter. That could have went for 30 seconds and I would have felt the same. Like, it was perfect for what it needed. Perfect opener. Kurt was just great, by the way. Kurt's a great talker. How young did Kurt Angle, I know this is 20 years ago, but Kurt Angle just looked like a baby.
He did. It's the hair.
He
lost a lot of years when he got his head shaved.
It's the hair. It definitely is the hair. Guys, if you
hair, Cotton.
Yeah, if you are just joining us, thank you for joining in. We are raising money, as you see on the screen, for the Australian bushfires. We're going to be aiding the Red Cross and Wires. The Red Cross helps with people with essentials like food, water, shelter, and it gets assistance to people where they need to be, if they're stranded and stuff like that. Wires helps with the saving wildlife in this country. We've lost 1.25 billion animals, and the number is only going up as these fires continue. Over 1,400 homes have been destroyed in these fires. That number continues to rise. We've lost over 20 people unfortunately, in these fires. We have lost 3 firefighters in these fires. It's really, really difficult to open up Facebook or turn on the television, see the news, and all of this stuff is just constantly getting you, like, it's just constantly being reminded that this is happening. I'm safe and away from these fires. The closest one to me at the moment is around 4 hours away. However, my town is full of smoke from these fires. That's how intense these fires are today in the state of Victoria, which is a fair way away from me on the Australian southeast coast. There is a potential chance with the hot weather and the winds that 2 fires are going to merge today and become a mega fire. So it is... Those states need you. South Australia needs you. This whole country needs you, as this is one of the worst fires that, at least in my lifetime, that I can ever remember. Because it is merging. It's countrywide. Fires are becoming 2 fires, are becoming 1. So any help is needed. Just, even if you cannot donate, please don't feel pressured to donate. A simple share on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, really does help out. So please, if you can do so, make sure that we can get as many people in here as possible. I've already received donations throughout the week, and for anyone that's donated directly to any of these causes or any of the places that are helping out Australia at the moment, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. It really does mean something. We'll talk about the bushfires again a little bit later. We're going to be here for another hour and a half, guys. So once we get done with Reverb Rewind, we're going to be doing some questions. But if you have some questions in the chat, feel free to ask them. We'll get to them when we can. I've got them all listed here, so don't worry, I won't miss you. To everyone in the chat, hello. We all love you. Kevin, what was coming up next here on Reverb Rewind Royal Rumble?
Royal Rumble 2000. We jumped right into the next match, I believe. I don't know if there might have been something in between, but I've got the next up being the tag team tables match between the Hardys and the Dudleys.
Oh, yes. I have seen this match a lot. There was a little backstage segment with Terry, but nothing really.
That's correct. They cut a promo. They wouldn't let Terry come out. Matt Hardy said they're going to put the Dudleys through tables or they're going to die trying. Good short little promo. The Hardys aren't they're not known for their promo skills necessarily, even though Matt's gotten really good at it.
Not back then, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, at least back then they were more of an action team, which is fine. The Dudleys were the ones who can carry the segments on the microphone. They did. When they came out to the ring, they cut a little heel promo on the crowd in New York, which is ironic because I know Bubba's from New York. I'm not really sure where Devon's from.
They're from Dudleyville. What are you talking about?
Oh shit, you're right.
Wow.
I'm thinking of Bully Ray Dudley. That's my bad. He's from the kitchen.
Yeah, these two are from Dudleyville. Long line of Dudleys.
Dudleyville. Same as Big Dick Dudley and Spike Dudley. And
there's lots of Dudleys. Would be here for many hours if we were listing all the Dudleys. All with different mums or dads or something. I don't know how it exactly works, but they are in fact related, and they're all from Dudleyville. So you need to can it, Kevin. This tables
bad,
match though, mwah, my God.
Oh,
Thank you,
and
BJ,
again,
by
this
the
is
way.
another perfect example. This match only went for 10 minutes. Did it feel like 10 minutes to you? Because it felt
I
like
don't
it
remember it
going
being
on
10
a lot
minutes. I
longer.
remember it being way longer than 10 minutes. You've watched this match before. I've watched this match before. It's the first ever tag team tables match. Before I want to... Yeah, Conrad, I actually agree. I love the set. It was very... I like Royal Rumble sets being really small with, like, not a lot of ramp, so you can get straight to the ring. It worked. We'll talk about it when it comes to the Rumble, but it worked perfectly for that. But this tag team tables match, before we actually talk about the actual match, the rules of this match is what I appreciated the most. I wish they would have tag team table matches now and use these rules. Like, you had to put both members of the team through the tables, but the other members of the team were still technically active because it's no DQ. So I like that. Like, they put Bubba through a table, or Bubba through a table quite early.
Yeah, he just shrugged it off and kept going.
And
I like the rule that you couldn't put yourself through a table. You had to be put through a table. Makes it more violent, makes the match go a little bit longer, and it gives you more room for spots. Like, as you saw Matt Hardy jump through a table. You saw Jeff jump through his own. The Hardy Boys could have eliminated themselves, because of the rules of the match, which King and JR, to their credit, did a pretty good job explaining on commentary, because I was a little confused at first.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of rules, especially at this time. It was the first ever tag team table match. This was like prime. We're getting ready for, like, later in the year. It was TLC and the Triangle Ladder match at WrestleMania 2000. Like, we were very much in the prime tag team, like those three teams and a few of the other teams really being very prominent. They were kind of what, I guess, where the women are now, if I can compare it to anything for anyone that wasn't watching at that time. That's how hot they were. They were the stars of the show. They were constantly stealing the show. Like, there's an argument to be made. We'll get to the other match later, but there's an argument to be made that this could be your favorite match of the night. There was a lot of spots in this match. It was a lot of fun. It was very fast-paced. I mean, the finish of this match is what I appreciated the most, but Bubba got eliminated through, like the double splash leg drop spot with the ladder and the turnbuckle.
I love this spot. I just want to talk about the camera work here. I don't know if it was on purpose. By the way,
thank you very, very much.
Omega Luke in the chat. What a handsome man.
What a famous man we've got in the chat now. Mr. Famous is over here. Woo-hoo-hoo,
yeah,
Mr.
Football Manager YouTuber guy.
He's that famous YouTuber, Omega Luke.
He's handsome too. Does he have an OnlyFans account?
I wish. I wish. I would pay
big bucks. Get back to what I was saying. The camera work here, I'm not sure if it was on purpose or not, but the way Jeff Hardy comes flying out of nowhere, like, you don't even see him coming until he splashes down on Bubba, is so good. I don't know if it was on purpose, because you never know. But I loved it. The camera's focused on Matt Hardy the whole time, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Jeff Hardy comes and finishes the deal.
Yeah,
I love that.
Great spot. It was a great spot. So at this point, again, this was only a few minutes into the match that Bubba got eliminated. It was in the first 4 minutes or something, wasn't it?
It had to have been.
It must have been. Yes, BBR forever. Rest in peace. It is. It was like a race now. I like the atmosphere of, like, they put Bubba through a table and it was like, all right, like Matt always kind of dictated the spots with Jeff. He's the older brother. He kind of was like, yo, Jeff, do this, do this, do this. I always notice that about the Hardys. I pick up on little things, I guess. But anyway, that's very relevant.
The older, wiser brother making the younger brother do all the danger.
Wrestler. He is a better wrestler than Jeff. Just putting that out there. Jeff is great for spots, but Matt was the fundamentals. And you know how much I love fundamentals, Kevin.
Yeah, Josh loves a good fundamental wrestling match.
Basic, simple. I like that stuff. You don't have to be too crazy. I like spots as much as anybody else, but I like the fundamentals of wrestling. If you just do that, I'm along for the journey. You can wrestle for as long as you want. But Matt and Jeff were both very much, let's put Devon through a table. They were setting up all these wacky kind of spots. We had tables against stairs and the ring. We had tables set up all on the outside. Oh, wow. Conrad, see? I actually do. I've always liked Matt Hardy more than I've liked Jeff. Matt Hardy version 1. I could do a whole episode on Matt Hardy version 1 with his
Matt
MFers.
Hardy's character work, and this is very easy to say now, but it's always been true, is light years better than Jeff's.
Better talker, better actor, better at fundamentals, but Jeff was just, he was the crazy wild one that everyone loves. And I love Jeff Hardy as much as everybody else. But I always appreciated Matt. Broken Matt, of course, now. Well, not so well, kind of now with that free. Does anyone watch Free the Delete on YouTube? Because it's really, really good. You should, Kev. It's really good, and it's like 4 or 5 minute episodes. So it's like, I
know I've seen the links to them, and I see what Matt Hardy does on Twitter to sort of keep the broken / woken spirit alive. It's just that, like, there's not going to be a payoff to it on TV. So what's the point?
Yeah, it is a shame. I wish they were using, because Matt and Jeff, they're in their later years of their career. I want to see them wrestle while they still can, and then, fade off. Classify themselves as obsolete, if you will. But at this point, they were very much in their prime. Very much all systems are going. The tag teams had the mentality of going out there and just stealing the goddamn show, because that's what that was the mentality of every match. If you go and look at all triangle ladder matches at WrestleMania 2000. WrestleMania 2000, guys, is notoriously known as not a great WrestleMania. But that match is like a shining light on that WrestleMania.
The only match I could even think of from WrestleMania 2000 is the triangle ladder match.
I remember the main event, but it wasn't very good.
The main event was like a McMahon
in every corner,
right?
like Foley and Rock and Triple H and Big Show, and Foley missed that elbow. Oh boy. It was a rough WrestleMania. Not all manias.
Good thing we're not ReverbRewinding that.
Maybe soon. Yeah, but the tag teams were going out there and just doing their best to steal the show. So anyway, they were going through, they were trying to eliminate Devon. Of course, Bubba was getting back in this. The spot that eliminated Matt Hardy, holy balls. That was nasty. That big powerbomb table spot.
Oh, yeah.
That table just disintegrated. It was like, see ya.
Yeah, what are those tables made of?
Wood?
Maybe. Yeah, it was a good spot. And then, and again, we could have just had a one-on-one tables match here, which wouldn't have been that exciting between Jeff and Bubba, or Jeff and Devon. But with the rules as they are, you still get that the kinetic, the frenetic tag team energy out of it, which is really good.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. By the way, guys, thank you to everyone that's donated over the week and today, because we've just hit $150. We're only 38 minutes into this, so this is more than I ever imagined. To anyone that has donated to the links on the screen directly, or to any cause that helps Australia, thank you very much. Again, if you want your donation to, of course, appear on the screen, you need to donate with the tip jar method down below. To anyone that's listening to this via podcast, because this will release as a podcast on all platforms, I'm going to leave the donation page open for another couple of days before I make the donations to the places. So you do have a couple of days to donate if you want to go do so. So we're getting into the finish of this match now. That's why we kind of wanted to talk about. It's a very iconic image of Jeff Hardy standing there.
Is the right word. That's exactly the word I had in mind.
It's played on a lot of video packages, as when anyone talks about the Hardys, that's him standing there on the the balcony, I guess. The balcony?
Yeah, the balcony, the railing.
I
call it a balcony. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, the balcony. He's standing there on the balcony doing his thing, and standing there with the Jeff Hardy pose, the Hardy Boys pose, let's just say, swanton through the table, through Devon. Just a great finish to a really fun 10-minute match.
10-minute match.
10-minute match. What do you think about this match? I loved every minute of it. I couldn't stop watching it, and I've watched it a lot.
I've watched it. Yeah, of all the matches from this show, this is definitely the one I've seen the most. Oh. And that spot gets me every time. And I love, even before it, when Bubba falls off of the balcony through the tables, and then just to set that moment up. I just love the way Bubba sells it. Is he gonna fall? Is he gonna fall? Is he gonna fall? Is he gonna fall? And then he finally tumbles over, and then that's the beginning of the end for the for the Dudley boys. And
Yeah.
I love how the story is that the Hardys are beating the Dudleys at their own game. That's why this story needs to go on further, is because, you know, if the Dudleys win this match, what's there left to prove?
Yeah, I like that as well. I couldn't honestly tell you the Dudleys were heels because they were ripping on New York. Okay, never mind. Scratch that comment.
They were ripping on, they were hyping up John Rocker.
Yeah. I see. This is what I mean when I watch some of the things. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but I know you're being a dick. So
yeah, John Rocker was a pretty notorious baseball player in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty horrible human being, honest to God.
Okay. So all right. Cool. Typical heel shit then. Conrad says good psychology in that match. Yes, it was. It is good psychology in yeah, it all leads to like WrestleMania 2000 with the triangle ladder match, and then going into SummerSlam 2000 with the first ever tables, ladders, and chairs match. How are we coming up on 20 years since the first one of them? Oh boy, it's crazy to think about that kind of stuff. Anyway, this match I loved. Like I said, I've watched this match a lot. I really did like it. It's a very good. A good tag team match at the well, not maybe the height, very close to the height of the tag team scene in WWF at the time. Yeah, it was the foundation, Conrad, for the TLC kind of matches.
Absolutely.
So you had like the tables guys, the ladders guys, and the chairs guys. So it was a lot of fun. I want to take a minute here to talk about JR and King. They're the sound of my childhood. They're a sound of a lot of our childhoods growing up watching Raw and WWF programming, WWE programming. They are like that, the standard for what wrestling sounded like. They were the soundtrack to wrestling for a lot of the term. And it's so weird to think about in this day and age how much I don't like Jerry Lawler anymore and how much JR has just lost a step. JR was great. I don't think he is great anymore. But that's coming from a very different set of eyes someone who doesn't necessarily love AEW, but taking bias out of it aside, I just don't really think JR is what he used to be. I think that's everyone's agreement though, is that JR's not quite what he used to be. Some still like him, some don't. But you know, King gets universally not loved anymore because he's so not with the times. He should not be behind a microphone in 2020. It's just
on King's best day in 2020, he's average. On his worst day, he's like borderline racist, borderline sexist.
Yeah, it's a very different world we live in. 20 years is a long time. It's very, very, very prominent in this show because we're about to talk about something that is very different from now. However, I try to watch these shows as if it was in that time, so I still try to take what it is, but it was a very like 18-year-old male demographic, and they were definitely trying to work to that with lots of blood, violence, very attractive women in very little clothing, and Jerry Lawler kind of being our brain. Maybe not for us because we were so much younger, but for a teenage boy watching that at that time, Jerry Lawler was just saying what we were thinking. So I understand the times, but in this day and age, that is not how wrestling works. That's the Attitude Era. I like parts of it. I don't like parts of it. That side of the Attitude Era with let's just call a spade, borderline perverted comments that Jerry Lawler would say. That's the part of the Attitude Era I don't like. The blood, the violence, I like. I wish we could see more of that in wrestling now. But things like unprotected steel chair shots, we've seen a lot of them in this show, especially in that tables match and another match we'll talk about soon. There was a lot of unprotected chair shots that I don't love to the head.
You make me cringe so bad.
Just because I know how bad they can be.
As someone who has the benefit of foresight in 2020, hindsight is 2020 is what it is. But who knows what those chair shots do in now? Who knows how this is affecting people? They just make me cringe. As someone who's gone through concussions myself. I know how messed up that blows to the head can make you. And these guys were just out there just taking shot after shot to the dome with no regard for their own safety. And obviously, wrestling is not ballet, but you got to take yourself into account a little bit.
I like chair shots to the head as long as they're protected. I think chair shots to the head have a place in wrestling, but I don't think unprotected chair shots to the head do.
Yeah.
Accidents happen with protected chair shots, but you're doing your best to protect yourself. Just like an accident can happen on a headlock, it can happen on a hip toss, it can happen on anything. So I do think there's a place for them. I just don't necessarily think unprotected is the place that we need to go, especially with a lot of things that happen with Chris Benoit, and there's a lot of sayings that like a lot of stuff with the chair shots, and I understand there was other stuff, but I wouldn't want to take that risk twice. So I'm glad that part of the Attitude Era is gone. I'm glad that what we're about to talk about, because I believe it was next, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure what I'm referring to is next. It's a lot.
It'd be funny if like we spent all this time talking about, like almost like a lead into what we're going to talk about, and it wasn't next, but it is.
It is.
Next up was the Miss Rumble 2000 swimsuit contest.
Very important. Top stuff here.
Your contestants: Ivory, Terry Runnels, Miss Jacqueline, Barbara Bush. I don't know. I don't even remember who that was, honestly. Luna, who I definitely didn't think was still with the WWF this time, and the Cat, who was the WWF champion, your women's champion, your WWF.
Kitty. That's all that Terry. Kitty. Was he with her at this point? Because that was his wife at one stage, was it not?
Yeah, I don't know if they're together at this point. Because I kind of hope they were, because if not, that's weird.
It's pretty. They all come out in robes. By the way, people, if you're wondering where we're leading to, this is a bikini contest, but there were judges. But the crowd were not the judges, guys. We had, I believe.
No, there was a judges panel.
It was an all-star panel. We had was it Sergeant Slaughter? No,
Sergeant Slaughter was on there.
Fabulous.
Tony Gurria was on there. Johnny Valiant. Classy Freddie Blassie. The Fabulous Moolah. And Andy Richter, the comedian.
Yeah, I know who that is. It was I didn't even know the words to describe that panel. Not even looking at what was actually going on. That is a weird collective of people.
Yeah, it's like you have like one bona fide legend. To me, I'd give you two. It's Slaughter and Moolah. Blassie is a legend of a different era where, like, if you asked a lot of wrestling fans now about Classy Freddie Blassie, I don't think they'd be that familiar with him, honestly.
Especially now, yeah.
And then Johnny Valiant and Tony Gurria. I know who Johnny Valiant is. I don't know who Tony Gurria is. Andy Richter's just so far out of left field for this.
And he's just there.
And
they didn't add anything. They didn't add anything to.
No, they didn't judge anything. They didn't do anything.
They were just there. Jerry Lawler was really the one steering the ship here, as only he could. So the first person that took off their robe was Ivory. Was Ivory first?
I think it was Ivory. I'll be honest with you, Josh. I skipped through this. I
watched it. Because I knew what was coming.
I knew it was. I watched the end. I watched the end result.
So we went through all the ladies. Some of the ladies didn't want to take off their robe because it was degrading, as it was. This is the part of the Attitude Era I was referring to that I don't want to ever see again because we're in a different world. But I understand the demographic and where we were as a society at that stage. I don't know if 5-year-old me would have, like, I don't know how my mother let me watch this at 5 years old, to be honest, because, they're not wearing a lot of clothes.
No, clothes are at a minimum here. Definitely not a lot of material.
No. Some of the ladies didn't like it. Some of them did. Miss Cat did. She loved it. Terry Runnels loved it.
She's wearing bubble wrap.
She was wearing bubble wrap. But what we need to talk about here is there was one more participant that came out into this match. And
and honestly, if I had no clue what was going on, if I had never seen this, never had any inkling of it, I think I still would have expected this. Because the judges were making, their final tallies, judging on, showmanship and pageantry and all those things that go into these contests. One more contestant appeared, Mae Young.
The
Of course, Mae Young appeared.
beautiful.
You couldn't have a segment in the Attitude Era with women doing scandalous things and not have Mae Young involved.
Yeah, because all she wanted to do is who wants to see my puppies. Now, I'm 24 years old. I have I've seen my share of puppies in my life.
I love this.
Never in my life have I ever seen something so horrific quite before. In the year 2000, I'm not sure how old Mae Young was. I know that she's of the elderly. In this stage,
She wasn't young.
Thankfully, she was censored. We didn't see anything, but for anyone watching the live feed knows that you've seen her puppies. Conrad,
Yeah.
Can you not hear us at all? You should be able to hear us. If anyone's having problems with the audio, please let yourself known in the chat. If I need to fix anything, it says everything's fine on my end. So, assuming. Okay, cool. Conrad, I'm sorry if you can't hear us. Everyone type to Conrad. We want him back.
Someone just transcribe what's being said so Conrad doesn't feel left out.
He can censored from this segment. Let's just call a spade here. She got her boobs out a lot.
Yeah, tits were out for the boys. No boys wanted to see them.
Well, who knows? I can't speak for everybody. But
I think you can.
I know that I didn't want to see Mae Young's tatas at all. There was a lot. She was in a one piece. I mean, if I can take anything away from this segment, is that props to Mae Young for just being like, fuck it.
Yeah, Mae Young literally would do
I'm going to get my
anything for the company.
70-year-old boobs out. I mean,
She takes power bombs through tables. She pulls her puppies out.
Yep. All the girls were trying to cover her up because they realized, oh shit, we're live on pay-per-view, and this old lady's got her boobs out. Something must have worked because those panel of judges voted for her. I guess it was Andy Richter.
It was a unanimous decision. Andy Richter was like, "Oh my god,
Mae Young,
he was getting hot under the collar over there. You could just tell." Freddie Blassie probably had a heart attack.
Well, I don't know. Moolah would have been like, "Fuck yeah, Mae."
Moolah was like, "This is a regular Tuesday night."
And now we have the Mae Young Classic. So I mean, Mae Young and Moolah, no disrespect to them, they are legends of women in this sport. When at a time when women were not featured, they were. Especially in the 70s and 80s, they were just an attraction. They were just, have this special little ladies wrestling match, and they'll go out and do a few moves. Especially Moolah. She was champion for a very, very long
champion
time.
For like an entire lifetime.
Long time. So, props to them. And Mae and Moolah were always used in those comedy segments in the Attitude Era. They popped up all the time. I mean, everyone's seen that clip of Mae Young getting powerbombed through the tables. Like, damn, oh damn. She's a tough lady, and it was sad when she passed. I remember that happening. Remember when she was on, like, years ago with Lay Cool on, like, an old school Raw, and she's like, "Give me these sluts," and I was like, "Oh my god, Mae." Do you remember that, when she called them sluts?
Yeah, I do. Mae Young had no filter about her.
Obviously, she had no filter. But she is the winner of... She is the Royal Rumble 2000... Miss Royal Rumble 2000. No one can take that away from her.
No.
Hall of Famer?
Absolutely not.
She's a Hall of Famer, isn't she?
She's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
if she's not a Hall of Famer, that's a miscarriage of justice.
Yeah, she's a Hall of Famer for moments. I guess for anything, it was horrific. Even with the censorship, I was like, oh dear God. But I guess it's still entertaining. At least to the judges it was, so I guess it entertained somebody.
Clearly people were having a good time. I mean...
She got kind of low-key booed at the start because these boys were like, we don't want to see this. Hey, Queen's here. Thank you, Queen. Queen,
Oh my
Queen.
God.
Everyone say hello to Queen. Royalty is in the chat, guys. Royalty is in the chat. She's popped in at a great time because we're just finishing up talking about seeing Mae Young's boobies. Thank you for the tip, BJ. Much appreciated.
Oh yeah, what a time to jump in. You may, depending on your point of view, you may have popped in at the right time or the absolute wrong time.
Probably the wrong time. Let's just be honest.
We can
Let's
keep
move on
going.
from that because I mean, how do you? Thank you, Queen. Much love to you as well. How do you follow up that bikini contest?
But I think this is when we cut back to Kurt Angle, right? Or was that after this match?
I think it was. We'll talk about Kurt Angle here.
Okay, this was funny as shit. They cut back to Kurt Angle, getting looked at in the back, and he's very, very out of it. He's just like, did I win? Am I undefeated? I'm still undefeated. And the guy's just like, let's get you to sit down. And he's like, he makes a very good point, unwittingly saying, if you choked me out, I'm still undefeated, which it's hard to argue that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yes and no, I guess if it's an illegal choke, but isn't the referee's decision final? Was that
That's
a thing?
True. It's the referee's discretion.
Yeah. I don't know. Was it anyone? Conrad's like a wrestling encyclopedia with a lot of this stuff back then. Was that the end of his streak? Was that the official end of his streak, or did he protest that? Because I can't remember. Conrad will let you guys know in the chat. Will let us know because I'm not exactly sure. I would say it is the end, but Kurt Angle probably would have went on with that for a little while. Moving on from that.
Next up, match number 3 on the card. This is a short card because obviously with the Royal Rumble, there's not going to be a lot of other stuff going on with a lot of your talent busy. Next up was the triple threat match for the WWF Intercontinental Championship between your co-champions, Chris Jericho and Chyna, and Hardcore Holly.
Okay,
so this match to me started out really well. I thought it got a little sloppy as it went on, though.
Yeah, I agree. Conrad actually says, yes, it was his first loss. Like, there wasn't no, reversing of decisions. But he did go on to have that. That was Kurt Angle's rookie year from Survivor Series to Survivor Series, I guess. But just the year 2000 for Kurt Angle was just phenomenal. I mean, yeah, phenomenal. But yeah, I agree with this match. I don't know. No worries, Queen. Thank you for donating directly to the Red Cross. Any way you want to donate, it helps out. Thank you very, 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 very much. It's much appreciated. So I agree. I was really keen on this match because I always remember loving the co-champion thing. Anytime I go back and watch the Intercontinental Champion thing between Chyna and Jericho, I always remember the matches weren't fantastic, but I liked the dynamic of it. Especially in that time where, women weren't, they were in a bikini contest, but Chyna was doing her own stuff. She was wrestling the dudes, and she was, she was really, really living up to that ninth wonder of the world kind of, shtick. But again, I don't remember Hardcore Holly ever being involved in this kind of stuff, but I guess he was for a little while. The match was quite sloppy though. There was some blown spots.
You know what I did like? How they build Hardcore Holly as being allegedly 400 pounds.
Yeah, I how much I have a soft spot for Hollies. I mean,
oh yeah,
I love
the Holly family. Love Hardcore. Love Crash.
Crash is so just magnificent. Crash with the Hardcore Championship when it was 24/7 was just, my God. Amazing. Crash was just incredible, and the music, but you know how much I love a certain other Holly. Molly Holly is just everything
Molly
to
Holly.
me. I mean,
Josh's girl.
Oh man, the greatest. What an incredible, so underrated. That woman should be in the Hall of Fame. Maybe this year. Who knows? Fingers crossed. I'll lose my shit. Anyway, but this match was, a few too many blown spots. I like the finish. I like who won. It's so weird that we're talking about Chris Jericho back here, and he's a world champion of a...
By God, what's the AEW world champion doing in Madison Square Garden?
Literally. literally. We're still talking about Chris Jericho, and Jericho still wrestles pretty much the same.
Yeah, he still hits the
much.
moonsault. Still hits. He wasn't like doing crazy spots, but
Jericho
he's
never did,
capable
though.
of doing.
I don't think Jericho really was ever like a crazy spot guy.
He
did
really
what he
wasn't.
needed.
He was capable of busting out a backflip or doing like the springboard stuff, but he was never like crazy over the top rope, planches and tope con heroes and all that stuff.
No, he was he always just stuck to what he knew. He was never really a spot monkey, quote unquote, and that's why he's my favorite of all time. I don't love him as much as I used to. I don't know. The last few years I've kind of dipped down on him a little bit, but he's still my all-time favorite. I still love him to bits, and he's still the best. But yeah, Chris Jericho won here. He tapped out China, did he not? Or did he tap out Huggle Holly? I can't remember.
He pinned China with a moonsault, with the lion salt.
When was the last time he's ended a match with a lion son? That used to be his finish. That was his finish for a long time.
I know. I mean, it's not a bad finish. I mean, it's a springboard moonsault. It's
Candice
pretty
LeRae
cool.
does it now, does she not? That's her finish.
Yeah.
But yeah, lion son to win it. Why did I think he tapped out someone? Did China do the Walls of Jericho in this match?
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking.
It was right before the finish where she had Holly in the walls.
That's right, and he did the bulldog
Jericho
spot.
went for that bulldog that kind of didn't land.
Yeah, because that's why I was like, that was a blown derp. It was kind of a blown finish.
But what are you gonna do?
Jericho got the win. That's all that matters. Jericho was fucking over, by the way. Holy shit!
Oh my god, yeah.
Thank you, Queen. You see the cat.
Welcome to Madison Square Jericho, baby.
Hey, he still sounds the same. He's very consistent, Chris Jericho. While he changes a lot, he's still very consistent.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Very, very much so. But yeah, Jericho went over here. Average match. I mean, nothing to really rave upon. What was next? Oh, well, before we go on to next, if you are just joining in, thank you very much. Make yourselves known in the chat. We have Levi and Conrad and Queen and BJ and Dave. There's people everywhere. To donate, you can use the links provided on the screen. If you want to donate directly to the Red Cross or Wires. Wires helps out wildlife, or the Red Cross, everyone knows what the Red Cross does. Or if you want your donation to appear on the screen, you can scroll down to the tip jar button below here on Twitch. Click that, you go to a PayPal page, pay how you need to, it pays it to me, and I will be equally dividing up these donations to the two charities to help out Australia. For anyone that doesn't know statistics on this, crazy, intense bushfires that are going on at the moment, they're still currently going on. They've been going on for months. We are very much in the height of them at the moment. This is one of the most intense summers that I can ever remember in my lifetime. We always have a bushfire season. For anyone that doesn't know, this is a fairly hot country. We do get fairly hot in this country. Bushfire seasons happen from like November to April. We get bushfires every year, but never something in my lifetime can I remember something so intense and just everywhere. We've had it from state to state to state. Close to where I am, today especially, I have really thick visible smoke in my town. All you can smell. I have to shut windows and that on constant, but that's not me complaining. I'm very much safe, very much away from these fires, which is all I can ever ask. But for the people that have lost their lives, for the people that have lost their homes, all the animals that have been going on, that have lost, we're on the verge of having a lot of species become endangered or extinct because of these fires. Why are the bushfires worse than ever? I think it's just, honestly, in my opinion, I think climate change is a very real thing. This is just my opinion. This isn't fact. But I do think climate change is a very real thing. The world is getting a lot hotter. And the natural way the world works is it doesn't know how to react, therefore. But in a lot of cases in this country, while a lot of these fires have started, quote-unquote, naturally, some people are just absolute assholes, and a lot of these fires have been deliberately lit, and then they become uncontained in these hot, windy conditions. We haven't had a lot of rain this summer. We still have like 48 days of summer left, by the way, guys. We've still got a long haul in this. For a lot of the country, not a lot of rainfall is coming until the end of February. So, firefighters, we've had I believe 3 firefighters in this country, maybe 4. I couldn't tell you exact number, so my apologies. But 4 firefighters have lost their lives. Firefighters are losing their homes while defending other homes. It's really, really sad what's going on with the people and the animals of this country. So this is why I'm doing this. So thank you to everyone that has donated during the week, that has donated today, that is donating to whatever charity they see fit. If you want to help animals, Wires is the one to do it. People, Red Cross help with people, shelter, food, water, all the essentials, getting help to where getting help is needed. Because a lot of these people are stranded. A lot of people are going to the beach because it's the only safe place. Because if fire comes close to you, you get in the water, is basically what they're saying. You've seen pictures all around. You see the picture in the background on the screen of how intense these fires are. That is just a small snippet of how intense these fires are. Red skies, black skies, just because of the smoke. It's pretty heartbreaking for me to see the news and see Facebook and Twitter feeds, and just, this is all I think about, all I see. It's just pretty crazy to see all this happening and to see lives lost and homes lost and all that stuff. So this is why I'm doing this, and bringing wrestling and this in together is the way I know best to do this. So thank you to everyone that's here. Thank you to everyone that's promoting the stream and whatever you're doing on Twitter and everything like that. It means the world to me personally. This is the most important thing that I've done, maybe the most important thing that I'll ever do. I've already raised more money than I think I would. We are at nearly the $200 mark just in tips on my tip jar. That's not including tips from this week, as well as people that have donated directly. A lot of people are helping out Australia at the moment. The US are helping out a lot at the moment. If you've seen the video that's going around on Twitter at the moment of the California firefighters arriving in the Sydney airport, they got a big round of applause from people in the airport, because that's how much this truly means to us, because we don't want to see, this number rise anymore. 1.25 billion animals is a lot of animals to lose. Over 20 lives have lost. The number of houses getting destroyed is just growing per the minute I'm saying this, so it's pretty damn intense. So anything I can do to help, this is my way to help. So again, thank you very, very much to everybody that has done this. We're not done yet. We've still got about another hour to go. Kevin, let's get back to some Reverb Rewind. What's happening next with Royal Rumble?
Back to the Royal Rumble here. It's Royal Rumble 2000, and we got a WWF Tag Team Championship match up next between your champions, the New Age Outlaws, the Road Dogg Jesse James, and the Badass Billy Gunn, versus the Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw. Now, this match was short and sweet. There was a little interference. There was an absolutely unreal clothesline from hell. And, there wasn't much to it, but it wasn't bad. X-Pac comes down, screws over the Acolytes. Billy Gunn pins Bradshaw with a Famouser. Again, it was like 2 minutes long. It was not long at all, but it didn't really need to be. It told a story and kept the feud going.
Yep. Did what it needed to do. I don't really have too much comment on this match because it was very short, but
I just think it's crazy that Bradshaw and Farouk went from being like the Acolytes, like coming out with the shit painted on their chest and being like basically minions to the ministry, to being like two dudes who sit in the bar and just beat the shit out
play
of people.
Poker, take that door anywhere.
That is character development right there. And I think the Acolytes are my favorite Attitude Era tag team.
Wow. Conrad saying, did you know Road Dogg pissed off APA on purpose and tagged Billy Gunn? Lol. Got him destroyed.
That doesn't surprise me, because I know the APA guys have a reputation for, working hard, working stiff, getting ornery in there. And Road Dogg is a son of a bitch for doing that. My God, Billy Gunn. That's funny.
Mr. Ass. They were over as shit too.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was. Everybody got a reaction. Like, that's the biggest disconnect, I think, now from wrestling, is that you watch Raw, WWE program especially. I won't speak on too much else because I don't watch a lot of other stuff. But the WWE programming is that even some of your biggest stars, the music's hitting and people are kind of sitting on their hands. The crowd isn't as active in the show it's all dependent now. It's like if you're in a shit town, you're not going to get a reaction. You have to be in a hype wrestling city like Brooklyn, Chicago, Philly, Toronto, something like that, to get the crowd, like, to stay alive. If you're in a, just a nothing, not a nothing, I don't want to say a nothing place, just a average.
If you're in an awful place, if your hometown just sucks.
Listen, I'm referring to Memphis because Memphis is like the worst wrestling crowd ever. They never make any noise, okay? I'm just saying it. But they just, it's different
Couldn't
now.
be Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, Conrad said it perfectly. Everyone was over and everyone had something to do. Yes. Look at me, the big AEW stan I am. It's just different. Everyone had something to do. Everyone was over. It was just very different. It didn't matter if your match went for a minute because everyone was like, we know who you are. We know what you're doing. If I put on, like, to a casual wrestling fan now, it's like, you know who the big people are. And then besides that, it's like, they haven't been on television in 4 weeks. I don't know who they are. I think that's the biggest problem. I think they have too much talent. There's a lot of talent. And that's the problem, I think, now. I think that's a big disconnect. But regardless, tag team titles retained in this situation. Not really much else to say because we are getting to a very important match. What was in between? There was much. Hey, we haven't talked about WWF New York.
Oh, that's right, WWF New York with your boy Jonathan Coachman.
Yeah, babyface Jonathan Coachman.
He did two hits from WWF New York, which I believe was only open for a couple of months at the time.
Yeah, it was. They said it was like, it wasn't open for very long at that stage. The first one he just did, and there was a lot of fans around him, and he looked nervous. He looked so nervous.
I don't blame him though.
He looked scared.
The way that I can't 100% say this with certainty, but the way they introduced Coachman made it sound like he was new in the job, and with the timeline, that makes sense.
I didn't know he was there that long ago, to be honest with you. I didn't know he was around since 2000.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. He looks so young. He looks like a baby.
Yeah, he does.
But that first hit he does, where he's like literally in the midst of the people, one guy just has his middle finger like right in Coachman's face, and like there's nothing they could really do. He's right center in the middle of the camera, and poor Coach is just like, oh boy.
Yeah. The second one though, the second cutback was with that Fox Linda McMahon. What a woman.
Linda McMahon, the CEO of WWE.
She was not happy either. She was like, this is not the McMahon way, which we'll talk about because it happened after this match.
Triple H may be champ, but we're going to do things the McMahon way.
I was like, yes, Linda, you tell him. I was like, I had the sass. I was like, you tell him. You tell your daughter. Yas
Queen. Slay.
Queen. What a woman. What an absolute fox. Let's talk about the street fight. Triple H, Cactus Jack, WWF Championship. This is a very iconic match. I've watched this match more than anything on this card. It's my older brother Dylan's favorite match of all time, so I've watched it a lot because, of course, I just had to sit and watch whatever he watched as a kid, so we watched this match a lot. I could nearly tell you spot for spot what happened in this match. I'm not going to. Don't get me started. But, brutal match. I mean, as you would expect from Cactus, Mick, Mankind, Dude, whatever you want to call him. He's going to take some punishment, and Triple H was like prime, Triple H was jacked. This was McMahon Helmsley era. This was my favorite Triple H theme of all time, my time, because it's fantastic.
I know you love that theme.
I love that theme. It is.
I'll always be partial to Motorhead, man.
It's a good theme, but I just love that. Just that. Want to tell this one? I just love it. Yo, hit me with that Triple H. Oh, I just love it. It's just so good. It's just so damn good. And it just, like, I don't know, just something about that match was just very...
It definitely fit for him at that point in time. Like, it was like a DX-esque theme.
Take us through this journey of a match, Kev. I'll let you kind of take us through how this kind of started, because these spots built.
Built. First, I want to talk about the video package that I let in was awesome.
Go for it.
One thing that the WWE has done, WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call them, has always done well is put together a damn good video package. And just watching what happened through the sequence of events, how Mankind was fired, then Mankind was like, I'm not good enough to face Triple H, but I know someone who is. And he takes off the mask and the button down, and it's like, I'm Cactus Jack.
Mm.
And I love that. I eat that shit for breakfast.
Big mood. Big mood.
Big mood. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh,
The match itself, really, really, really goddamn good. The first big spot, Triple H jacks Cactus Jack with the ring bell, and Cactus Jack, not that he no-sells it because he goes down, but he acts as if it like did nothing after a while. Like you don't even think about it as a big spot, but you just got clocked with the ring bell, cuz.
Yeah. I mean, in the terms of it though, Kev, of all the stuff that happens, it's like
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you think about what happens later, some of the stuff that comes out, they're all over the arena. They're up near the doorway. The Cactus Jack brought the pallets out and suplexed Triple H onto them.
oh, that was nasty. Because
Just
it hurt.
oh my god, yeah. Then Triple H suplexed Foley onto the trash can, which I always hurts my back to watch.
Conrad's in the chat talking about how Triple H was a believable main eventer at this stage. Very much so.
Oh my god, yeah.
Tough guy badge, yeah. Conrad, I'm going to ask this directly to you because you're just my dude when it comes to the Attitude Era. McMahon-Helmsley era. How did you feel about that? Kevin, I know we were watching, but it's a bit young, but even going back, well, you weren't watching, I should say, Kev, you didn't say
I
watching.
wasn't watching.
I was
watching. 4.
But,
or 3, right?
You've obviously gone back and watched. McMahon-Helmsley era is it's like that time when they had already beaten WCW at this point. WCW was dying at this point, so they could kind of
do what they wanted.
Loosen up the leash a little bit and be like, okay, we can try some other stuff now. I believe this was the first kind of thing that was a little different, like that McMahon-Helmsley era. I personally loved it. Conrad said he loved it. Anyone in the chat, McMahon-Helmsley era, yay or nay? How are we feeling about that? Because I know it's a very divided... We talk about the McMahon-Helmsley era in its entirety, and people are a bit divided on it. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally really loved it because I loved Triple H at that time. Yeah, okay, so this is what I mean. So Conrad's saying they were stacking the odds, top stars would walk out to get stuff in their favor because if Daddy Vince found out, he would be pissed. Okay, so isn't that essentially what they did with the Authority in 2013, 14?
Well, if you go back to that video package again, there was a segment in there where after Mankind had been fired by the McMahon-Helmsley faction, they did stage. The Rock came out and all the superstars surrounded the ring and said, if you don't get what we want, we're gonna walk.
Yeah,
and that is what happened in 2012, maybe
11
or 12. Whenever John Laurinaitis entered the picture, because
12,
everyone walked out on Triple H. That was a sad segment. I was upset.
And I was no confidence. Sorry, Hannah.
I was
no
like
confidence.
15 years old, so it wasn't like I was a child. But like when Jim Ross gets up at the table and like he hesitates, but then walks out, that hurt. That cut deep.
It's just it's a very similar story. I mean, that kind of power struggle story and like Daddy's girl, and it's been played out a lot in wrestling.
As long as Triple H has been a main figure in this company, he's been playing this role.
Yeah,
and
to
he
a
does
certain
it
degree.
so well.
Yeah, and Stephanie's great in that role. I think Stephanie is fantastic. How young did Stephanie look at this stage? I mean, Triple H, looks older, but he doesn't look like dramatically different. Like Stephanie is like this. She's like a girl at this stage, and she's like a woman now. Like it's very different.
Preach.
But yeah, McMahon-Helmsley era is very similar to the Authority era, but a lot of people hated the Authority, and then I think this is where the difference is with fans in this point. I'm not saying you're wrong at all, anyone in the chat, but overexposure is a big thing now. I agree with that, Conrad. But I just think if this exact thing was happening right now, the McMahon-Helmsley era, say all our cards were turned around and these were in their prime, people would shit on it, I think. I mean, AEW, okay? I seen a lot of stuff yesterday. I don't watch AEW Dynamite on the regular. I watch it here and there. But a lot of people were not very happy with the show yesterday from what I seen on Twitter. This is just what I'm viewing. A lot of people were like a little bummed with some of the stuff, like the Nightmare Collective, the Dark Order, just different things. And I don't think people are realizing is that they do this with WWE product all the time. It's overanalyzing to a certain degree. I understand if you don't like some things, you don't like some things. It's just that people are not allowing things to play out. And I think if the McMahon-Helmsley era was not playing out, right? If it was happening now and everything was, I don't think they would allow it to play out. They would just shit on it. We don't want that. Blah, 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 whatever it may be. And I'm not saying people are hating on AEW. I don't say people are like, I hate AEW now because of this. It's just like, the things that are drawing me into AEW, this is coming from someone that doesn't love AEW, but the things that are drawing me into AEW is the Nightmare Collective. I love that. It's very... what's the word? I don't even know the word to describe why I like it so much. It's something about it is intriguing me. I can't even explain it. That's the beauty of wrestling. Some things just draw me to it. The women's division in AEW is not something I'm particularly that fond of, and I think that's kind of a broad assessment. But because I don't watch, again, this is coming from someone that doesn't watch on the regular, so I'm trying to say it in a really... I don't try and comment on AEW too much because I don't want to seem like I'm just shitting on it, because I'm not. I want it to be very good, and I want to be watching all the time. It's just gotta... They have to do something to get me there. I know, Kevin, you watch AEW probably more than I do, but that was the kind of consensus yesterday, is that there was some things wrong with the show. And I'm just like, give some stuff some time. Am I just talking out of my ass here? Has there been enough time for stuff to develop, and should we be in a different spot with AEW than we are? In relation to the McMahon-Helmsley era, what we're talking about, it's, I don't know, there's something missing. It's just are people not allowing it to play out, or am I just in a different mindset?
Oh God, it's tough because, like you, I don't watch AEW as much as I wish I did. I mean, I work Wednesday nights. It's tough for me to watch any wrestling on Wednesday nights. I have to wait till the next day to watch NXT. So I'm an NXT guy over an AEW guy. But the thing with the Nightmare Collective that I've gathered is that they didn't do a good job of introducing it. Yeah. I think that it's been building for some time. I don't know if it's relatively new. I know that the bald dude, Luther, is new.
Yeah, that happened. That happened on Dynamite yesterday. I agree. Squared Circle Countdown. Hello, I didn't ignore you at all. They need to establish maybe better faces and heels within the women's division. They have focused on some other things. There are some people willing to give it time.
Yeah, I think Dave's got the right idea here with that.
Yeah, read it out for everyone. There are definitely
people that are it's not time to jump off the boat, but it is time to maybe consider some things if you're AEW. And problems like introductions. That's what I'm saying, is that they introduced Brandy's little group with like Awesome Kong a while ago, but they just really haven't done a good job paying it off. In my opinion.
Okay.
That's someone who hasn't watched week to week, so my opinion.
We'll see if we get back to AEW when we finish up with this Reverb Rewind, because we're nearly at the end of the Reverb Rewind portion. We're gonna have a little bit of just a general chat. But this street fight, McMahon-Helmsley era, there's a lot of spots in this match. We'll get to the finish because that's what is most important in this match. There was barbed wire in this match, like barbed wire 2x4s, and there was thumbtacks and back body drops under thumbtacks. There was wooden pallets. There was rock chair shots. There was lots in this.
There was my least favorite spot to watch, and not because it's a bad spot, because it makes me hurt. When Triple H hip tosses Cactus Jack into the steps.
The way Jack takes that all the time. Foley's always taken that so horrifically.
That scares me.
That's nasty. Let's talk about the finish. The pedigree into the thumbtacks. Ouchie mama. Ouchies. That would hurt.
That is bold.
That's a very Mick Foley spot. That's very like, you know what, Hunter?
Yeah.
Fucking pedigree me into these.
He's just like, dude, you know what? Just do it. I always pop when he kicks out of the first pedigree. that the first time I ever watched that match, I was so shocked. I thought that was the end of the match, no doubt, because it's right before the back body drop onto the tax. I thought that was a sufficient ending to a match, but they didn't think so, and I love that. They make a star. Not that Mick Foley wasn't a star already, but they make an absolute like god out of him, kicking out of the pedigree. No one kicked out of the pedigree.
Yeah, no one kicks out of it, especially at that stage. Finishes were much more protected, I think, in this time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, they were.
Yeah. I watched Royal Rumble 2000 live as well, according to my older brother. So apparently, I watched it as well. I'm just reading through some of the things in the chat. We'll talk about. I'm not ignoring these questions and stuff like that. I'm gonna get back to them in a second. But pedigree onto the tax. 1, 2, 3. Foley ends up beating up Triple H after the match. His music plays because they are leading to that Hell in a Cell match.
The crazy thing that Triple H wins, but he's the one getting stretchered out.
Good match though. Very brutal. Very, very brutal. It's not something that I would, if I'm looking to get someone introduced to wrestling, this is probably one of the matches on the list that I would show them. Maybe not first, but in the first few, because it's like, this is what wrestling was. Do you miss this level of violence?
A selfish part of me says yes. I do love violence in my wrestling. This probably wouldn't be the first match I showed somebody. I'd probably show them something more contemporary, more like fast paced, because this was a relatively slow moving match.
It wasn't it was a very different style of Mick Foley street fight. If you watch other ones, they're a little faster. There's more consistency with spots. These spots were placed out.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I noticed it.
God, what the hell was I even saying? I would show them something maybe a bit quicker, maybe a bit more like athletic. But I would definitely show them this match as a pinnacle of how violent the sport could be.
Yeah.
Without going overboard, because there are matches that are violent for violence sake. You know, like the match where they dip their hands in glass. I forget what it's called. The Indian death match.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I'm not a death match kind of guy. I'm more of a
crazy.
mainstream
That to me is a little too much.
But there's people that are into that. Do you? I don't think it's bad.
And
I don't think it's
and a lot of wrestlers very famous, and that's fine. I mean, Mick Foley's worked plenty of death matches in his career. He worked over in Japan for a while.
Terry Funk is one of the greatest hardcore wrestlers.
Terry Funk's an absolute legend.
Yeah,
and I don't hate those. I mean, I couldn't watch those over and over again. I could watch everyone every now and again. Maybe I could watch one, but this was a story-driven hardcore match.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Very good match though. I love the finish. I always have been a huge mark for that finish. I just
you are a mark.
I'm a huge mark. I don't. That's the thing. You know how I feel about that term. I don't know why it's used in a negative way. We are marks. We're marks. For
yeah, Sports Circle Countdown says Triple H became more of a badass heel after winning this match. I agree. I think, and Conrad said something similar where this match gave Triple H his tough guy card, and I think that's a really good point because a lot of people I don't think looked at Triple H as like someone that could go in this kind of match beforehand, and then he went out and did the big thing.
Yeah. I really liked that match, and I really liked this dynamic of this story and just everything. I just like everything like that. Of course, main event, Royal Rumble. I mean, it's hard to break down this match into get every spot because we're just not going to get every spot in. Everyone knows who wins this Rumble. Everyone knows the finish of this Rumble. It is Rock, of course. Rock was kind of.
I thought it was Taka Michinoku.
He was in there. He was in there a lot, wasn't he?
That's one of the things I think I need to talk about.
You need to talk about Taka?
Shut up. But I mean, yeah. One of the things that I just love every time I watch this Rumble, and I'll be honest, I think this is a mediocre Rumble.
Oh, I thought it was pretty piss poor, to be honest. I didn't love this Rumble. Didn't love it. There's a lot going on.
I think it drags in a lot of different spots. I don't think there's like one surprise, and it's Bob Backlund, and like that's not that big a surprise, honestly. No offense to Bob
But
Backlund.
the Rumbles weren't. The Rumbles are very much built on the foundation of a Royal Rumble match now. It's built on surprises. It's built on the suspense of counting down. I don't think back then there was as much emphasis on that. In the year 2000.
Yeah, no, there definitely wasn't. It's just like that's what I've come to love. So watching these older Rumbles doesn't do it for me. Like I don't like the classic Rumbles as much as I like the more modern ones.
Oh, me too. I agree with you. I didn't think this Rumble was that great. However, there was some cool little spots in there. I love the two cool dance break, and then
I like
eliminated
Rikishi's run of dominance at the beginning.
Rikishi's big ass just everywhere. Viscera was in there. I like that kind of little dynamic. Obviously, the final four of this match was interesting. It was an interesting...
Rock, Show, Kane, and X-Pac.
X-Pac.
X-Pac. Who was the 30th entrant? And they knew that. And one of the things that drives me crazy when they do this is like they announce the number 1 and the number 30 entrant beforehand.
Yeah, I don't love that either. I like everything being a surprise.
They made it clear that they knew who was coming out at number 30, and I think that just takes away from the match so much.
The suspense of it, the surprise aspect of the Rumble. That's what it is.
Especially when it's like, no offense to X-Pac, but like X-Pac, like who cares?
Anyway, Rock went over. Big Show, did the spit with the spot with the running, and then Rock pulled the rope down. Rock wins. Everyone's kind of in like, yay, Rock, Ends up going to WrestleMania, of course, in that 4-way. Did he win the championship at WrestleMania 2000?
I don't know. This is one of the WrestleManias I've never watched. I watched the ladder match from it, obviously, because I think everyone has, but I've never watched that WrestleMania front to back.
Rock won though. It was a good pay-per-view. I enjoyed the show. I watched it in one session. Usually, sometimes if they're a little bit of a bad show, I cut it up.
Kai and Tai.
Oh yes, talk about Taka. Talk about Kai and Tai. Talk about all of that.
I just wanted to point out that, and they pointed out. It's not like this is like a little secret thing that only I noticed. I love that after like the first or second time they come out, it's just Funaki, because Taka Michinoku takes the most ridiculous bump to the outside I've ever seen. He hits his head so hard off the floor, he may have gone blind.
I have nothing to comment on that because yes.
I literally promised a friend of mine that I would point that out, because every time we watch this Rumble, that's like the one thing I take away is that Taka Michinoku like almost killed himself taking a bump to the outside.
They were in there a lot.
They were in there a lot. The Mean Street Posse was in there. Like it's just like stuff like that. Like who cares about Kai and Tai and the Mean Street Posse?
I mean,
yeah. Do you? Oh,
I like Taka.
I like Taka too, and I like Funaki. I just, not at that time. I like Funaki as SmackDown's #1 announcer.
I like Funaki as Kung Fu Noki. Does anyone?
I like Taka as Zack Sabre Jr.'s hype man, if we're being honest.
Well, that's fair.
Just tap out.
Good show all in all, though. That street fight in the tables match was really what was the those
got to be your takeaways. And then Taz and Angle, too.
Taz and Angle, that was fun. And just
the rest of it,
MSG, the feeling of the show. It was a lot of fun. Guys, if you are just joining us, we are getting to the last 20 minutes of this stream. We're going to do just a general chit chat. But if you want to donate, you can use the links provided on the screen to the Red Cross or to Wires, or just scroll down and click that tip jar. I'm just getting all these emails now from PayPal. We've hit $245. So thank you very much for everyone that has donated. I'll be making those donations in the next couple of days. So, guys, I see a lot of chit chatter here about AEW in the chat. And again, it's hard for me to comment on something because I don't like just commenting on something because I don't watch it. It's hard for me to talk about it. However, yes, Kevin, we'll talk about High School Musical at some point in the next 20 minutes. Don't worry. So for anyone that's wondering, what isn't drawing me to AEW? Originally, it was I didn't love the whole statistics thing and the sports thing, but they have kind of not completely moved away from that, but they've evolved into more of an entertainment style of wrestling that I like, that I personally look for. But AEW to me is the biggest takeaway, I think, with AEW and what's kind of drawing me away from it is that they're very big fans of themselves. Now, it's always good to be, hyping around each other and be like, this is really good, you should be watching. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about is the fact that, in my opinion, AEW can, in their eyes, it comes across to me as that they don't really do anything wrong. And that they're like, oh, we're so great. Look at us. We're pro wrestling. We try to kind of entertain the fact that we're on the internet side and stuff like that. Now, again, not necessarily anything wrong with that. However, it comes across very egotistical to me as a viewer, as someone who watches wrestling a little differently maybe than some of us. Yeah, WWE can be said with the same thing. They do brag a lot about things that they do. But I think the difference is that when you have a lot of people surrounding you in AEW kind of being like, this is really great, watch this, as they should be. Fans of the things would be like that. But I feel like with the things that they're not calling out for the stuff that isn't great. Some people are, and it's changing, like I said, with certain things. But that's how I view it. This is just my opinion. I'm not speaking facts here. This is just my opinion of how that's what's kind of turning me away from the product. There's certain aspects of AEW where I'm like, I really like that. And I will purposely seek out to watch little bits. And I'm still going to be watching their pay-per-views and stuff like that. It's not like I'm completely distancing myself from this company. I really do want them to be great, and I want to be watching. I want to get to that stage with them where they're drawing me in so much that I'm like, I have to watch you every week. I want to watch you every week. If I'm choosing between NXT and AEW on a Wednesday night, not that we have to choose, I'm picking NXT because I love that product. I think it's just a fantastic product. There's just certain things.
The product.
Oh, sorry. I know you hate that term. I was like, why are you groaning? But sorry. Kevin hates when you call it the product.
I hate when you call wrestling the product. It makes me sound like I'm watching an episode of Supermarket Sweep.
To my point, though, I'm not going to say those words again, but when you're watching this television show,
there you go.
I just prefer the NXT product. That's just how I am. That's just how I go, and that's just my opinion. In the terms of like what I mean when they're like, they should be fans of themselves and they should think they're the best. I understand that, because if you don't, then no one else is going to think you are. I just see like a lot of it is just like they're kind of up each other's asses a lot of the time, if that makes any sense. That is just my opinion, guys. I'm not speaking facts again because I don't want it to come across as I'm just shitting on anything, because I hate shitting on wrestling. It's not
Stop shitting on wrestling, bro.
It's not my intention. I love everything, and I think AEW is good. It's just not necessarily the thing for me. But anyway, Kev, let's just get this High School Musical stuff. I know you want to talk about it.
I just want to say that, Josh, your takes on High School Musical are the worst.
Well, it's, I don't think they are, because, listen, if Queen was here right now, she would back me up. I'm going to say this to Queen. I know Queen's off right now recording her own show, but High School Musical, Sharpay is the greatest thing to come from High School Musical. She has the greatest music. She's you like Troy Bolton and you like Gabriella. Like, ugh.
Literally, Dave's never seen High School Musical. That's not great. Spoiler alert.
Well, yeah, I mean, spoiler alert for High School Musical that anyone hasn't seen it. But we grew up in a very like High School Musical driven time. Like we were that prime age, 10, 11 when that first came out. So it was like, boom, Disney Channel was on all the time. High School Musical. It was music. It was teenage drama. It was everything that I wanted in a movie. So
Yeah, it was perfect. Like, and now that the series has come out on Disney Plus, High School Musical, the series, it's like a renaissance of feelings for the original movies. I personally think the series is as good as the original movie.
wrong. It's good, but it's not that good.
Oh, it's good.
It's too cringy for me, but I do like it. It's
Oh, but like I like that. The original movies weren't cringy as shit.
yeah, but I mean, when you watch them as a kid, they weren't cringy.
They probably were.
We didn't know anything. We just wanted to eat our snacks.
I don't know.
and
I think
watch
that the series captures the high school experience so much more accurately than the movies did.
Okay, I understand that. Me and Kevin are going to agree to disagree because we have very different opinions when it comes to High School Musical and what's good and what's not. So, there's
I
that.
want is love that lasts. Is all I want too much to ask.
Oh, damn. You are something. You I don't know what to say, so the only thing I can do...
No. I am Troy Bolton.
He wishes he was Troy Bolton.
I was him for Halloween like 3 years ago.
Guys, this is what I have to deal with every week. You're just hearing it live instead of on a post.
Well, I have to take advantage of this situation. We're live. We're here. We've got an audience, a captive audience. I need to peddle my views.
Okay. For anyone that's just joining us, I'm sorry that you had to be put through that with Kevin then. Just my apologies. And if you are just joining us, hello. We're on the kind of last little bit of this general chit-chat portion of the show. For anyone that has listened on a recorded sense on the podcast version or you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. You can still donate. You just go to my Twitch, or you can donate to the links on screen, and you can do that. They'll be open for another couple of days post this stream. And we are raising money for the things that are going on in Australia right now. Everyone kind of knows the story. Everyone's done that. But guys, in the chat, whoever's still here, thank you, Conrad, Dave, everyone that's still here. Childhood shows. Let's just keep going with that for a little bit here. What were you watching as a kid that you can still watch today and just be like, damn, that's just my childhood? I know for me, a lot of it is like, I watched a lot of Rugrats when I was a kid. Did you watch Rugrats?
Yeah, I watched Rugrats.
Rugrats
is always on. Classic show.
Did you watch the Amanda Show?
Yeah, Amanda Show and all that.
All that.
Two
Amanda
shows
Show,
in the same game.
Right. Doug, Rugrats, yes. SpongeBob, I watched a lot.
Real Monsters.
Real Monsters, yes.
Sounds like Conrad watched Nickelodeon.
Rocko's Modern Life. Oh, I spent a lot of time watching Rocko's Modern Life.
And even like when even younger, like Blue's Clues and Little Bear and Franklin the Turtle.
Was the best. I love Blue's Clues, yes. Like as I got a little bit older, I started watching. Did you watch Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid? I used to fuck with Yu-Gi-Oh so much.
As a kid, like I haven't rewatched Yu-Gi-Oh relatively recently.
Years. It's been
I watched Pokemon relatively recently. I watched Yu-Gi-Oh relatively recently.
I watched Digimon when I was a kid. I wasn't
a Pokemon
guy. I was a Digimon guy, but that was just me.
I didn't play Pokemon. Like I played
the game.
When I was younger, I had like such a stacked ass deck.
I played the Pokemon games, like Game Boy Color.
Pokemon I think everybody did, dude. I it's funny. I never beat the games as a kid because I didn't have the patience.
Clarissa Explains It All. Sorry to interrupt. Conrad said Clarissa Explains It All. I used to love that show. And I used to love Melissa Joan Hart in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I used to watch Sabrina so much.
I used to watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch like before elementary school in the morning.
I used to watch it after school. There we go.
Oh.
That used to be the first thing that was on like I had like we call it pay TV here, but cable that you guys call it. It was like on at 3:30, so I'd just get home from school and I could watch Sabrina, and I used to watch it every Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I remember my all-time favorite was Scooby-Doo.
Oh.
And I remember when I was in kindergarten, I had a routine every day. We only went half days when I was in kindergarten. We went to school from 8 in the morning to 11:30. And right after, I would go to my grandma's house. She would make me a lunch of a hot dog cut up into little pieces and some mac and cheese. and I would watch the Smurfs and a pup named Scooby-Doo.
The Smurfs, hell yeah. Conrad's listing a lot of shows. Fresh Prince of
Content's
Bel-Air,
going off over
Looney
here.
Tunes, Family Matters, Closer Explains It All.
Fresh Prince. That's a little. I mean, I watch the Fresh Prince more now than I did when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's
So you're a little older than me, Conrad.
I watched the Fresh Prince as I was older as well. What else did I used to watch? I mean, it would be hard not to talk about The Simpsons because I feel like The Simpsons was just a part of everyone's life at some stage.
I never really watched. I mean, I'll watch it if it's on and I'm not watching anything else. But I wasn't like a huge Simpsons fan.
I'm not now. I can't watch The Simpsons anymore because I just don't think it's very good. And even classic episodes I go back and watch now and I'm like, there's nostalgia, but I don't really sit here and be like, I love them.
Boy Meets World, Conrad, ooey,
Boy Meets
ooey,
World was
ooey.
good. Oh,
Did you
man.
watch Girl Meets World by any chance?
I didn't.
I watched a couple episodes. It wasn't bad.
Mm.
It was nothing compared to Boy Meets World though.
I used to watch Boy Meets World. I used to love that. And then as I kind of got into like 8, 9 years old, Disney was a big thing.
Yeah, Disney Channel.
Lizzie
took over my
McGuire
life.
is my everything. Everyone knows how much I love Lizzie McGuire. I cannot tell you how much I am ready to watch Lizzie McGuire when it comes on like Disney Plus, the new Lizzie McGuire. I'm so excited. Hilary Duff is just what an underrated, criminally underrated performer. Hilary Duff is fantastic, and I will not listen to anyone that tells me otherwise because she's fantastic. Lizzie McGuire.
I'm not
was
here
great.
to tell you otherwise.
Lizzie McGuire was great. Have you ever watched Cadet Kelly? What a movie!
Yeah, dude.
What a fucking
All those.
movie.
That's what I'm most excited about getting Disney Plus for.
You
Is
have
that the
Disney
detox.
Plus?
I just got it like the other day.
I've had it since oh my god, that's Cadet Kelly. I've watched. What else did I watch? Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, that's on TV like every day. I don't even need to.
Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan. I mean, Lindsay Lohan movies in that era.
Herbie
is just-
Fully Loaded with Lindsay Lohan.
Oh man, isn't that just some of those movies you watch now and you're like, this is so bad. Why did I like this as a kid? But Herbie Fully Loaded
That's
is
what
one
makes
of
them
them.
great. Is that you can go back and like they're not rewatchable at all, but you still want to rewatch them.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many things.
My Date with the President's Daughter was a good one.
I never watched
Ghost
that.
Rider.
I never watched that
Ooh,
either.
I'm glad, Dave. I'm glad you remember that one. Because
Oh.
not a lot of people, like no one I know, watched Ghost Rider.
I don't even know what that is. Maybe that didn't air here.
It's a show. Oh man, I have like these little books too that were like the little puzzle books where the Ghost Rider would leave little puzzles.
Oh wow, there's a whole thing about it. So what else have we? I used to watch Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Hannah Montana, Phil of the Future, iCarly, Drake and Josh. I used to
Yeah.
watch
Oh,
so-
Drake and Josh.
I'd never
Drake and
thought
Josh is
that
right
it'd
in
be
the
so
class.
simple, but I found a way. I found a way. Damn. Just
Harmony.
I know. Yeah, we really did. We were just.
Oh,
singing
Dave's
along.
got the books too, dude. I love it.
Oh my god. So many of those kind of shows are just like I watch them now, and I'm just like, for a lot of the time, like That's So Raven, I watched through. That was the first thing I watched on Disney Plus, and I was like, this is exactly how I remember it. It holds up fantastically. Other shows, not so much. Hannah Montana is one that I cannot watch anymore because it's not great. It's not as great as I remember. It's Disney had a shift. I always like Nickelodeon shows more because I feel like they're a little bit like for an older audience, like that kind of like Disney were very like preteen, and then
Yeah.
Nickelodeon were a bit more of their like early teens, and that's where I kind of shifted to like Drake and Josh and iCarly and stuff like that because they just felt a little. The comedy was not so like cheesy. There were still cheesy elements, but it was different. But yeah, like Raven and Lizzie hold up really great. Even Stevens holds up really great. Oh my god, Smart House. Conrad is going off right now. Conrad is living. Halloween Town. My god.
Never seen Halloween Town.
Really?
Never seen it.
Wow. But yeah, that's just kind of Disney Plus is fantastic for that. I wish they had like some kind of a Nickelodeon Plus. I could just go back and watch all the old Nickelodeon. Fairly Odd Parents.
Ooh, good one.
Jimmy Neutron. Oh,
I love Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy
The
Neutron.
Jimmy Power Hours like blew my mind.
Jimmy Neutron was fantastic. I just loved everything about that. We still got about 10 minutes left before we're going to wrap things up. If you do like to donate, just follow the instructions on the screen and you can. Let's talk about wrestling for the last 10 minutes of this. We've finished with ReverbRewind, guys. If you are just kind of popping in and saying hello, we have finished with ReverbRewind. We had a fantastic chat about that. This is going to be on the replay here on Twitch. You're going to be able to see this exact replay on YouTube as well as the podcast. In the next 24 hours or so, I'll upload the podcast. So you'll be able to see it all and hear it all as you normally would for the week, because this is the podcast episode for the week as we raise money for Australia. We have raised $265 now, so I'm really excited, really happy with that. Plus, whatever you guys have donated directly to the causes, thank you very much. Let's talk about something that's coming up very soon, something that me and you are very, very excited for, and that is the Royal Rumble itself, because it's my favorite match, or two matches of the entire year. The most exciting, because in this day and age, a bad Royal Rumble is still a good Royal Rumble, if you get what I mean.
You still get the surprises, you still get the cool showdowns.
Okay, so let's dive right into this. Everybody will have their opinions on this. Brock Lesnar is number one in the Royal Rumble match this year, or the men's Royal Rumble match this year. He is the WWE champion. At this stage, the WWE championship is not on the line, so therefore, I guess, if he was to win this, I guess he would go for the Universal Championship, or maybe he would pick his own opponent. I
think he would pick his own opponent.
As per WWE, they haven't explained it. So
I see it playing out kind of like the way you look at it like this, to bring New Japan in. When the champion enters the G1 Climax, if the champion were to win, which I don't believe has happened in like 20 years, they get to nominate their own opponent.
Right.
I think that's what would happen if Lesnar won the Rumble. I think he would get to nominate his own opponent.
We don't know. I would like that idea. But Brock Lesnar is entering number one. I think he's going to have a fairly big run in the Rumble. I don't necessarily think he's going to win. I think the person that eliminates him is probably going to be the person that challenges him at WrestleMania. Time will tell. However, I know a lot of people are very... a lot of people are a bit divided on the fact that... Brock's in here. I think it just adds to the match.
I think it makes it more unpredictable.
Yeah, because he's in there at number one. Brock's going to throw out a lot of people. Let's just be honest here. Brock is going to throw out a lot of people. But that moment when someone eliminates him, oh baby. Yeah, they're in Houston, not going to win. Houston is...
He's not going to win.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win either. They're in Houston for the Rumble. I think they are. Who knows?
No, they were in Houston last year for the Rumble, weren't they?
No, they're in Phoenix last year, weren't they?
Oh, they were in Phoenix.
It's Houston this year, I'm pretty sure.
Are they another baseball?
Guys, fact that check. I think it is another baseball field.
Because that was I love that bet, the baseball field.
Me too. I like the way they come out, and it was different.
It's in Houston. You're right, at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, I thought it was. So that's a baseball place, isn't it?
Yes, that's the home of the Houston Astros.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I think I don't think he's going to win. The moment when he gets eliminated will be really fun. I believe, off the top of my head, this is who's announced for the men's Royal Rumble. We've got Roman, Ricochet, Brock, Drew, I'm blanking. There's other people in it that got announced. Rowan, yes. Oh, Rowan. I wonder what's in that cage. It made someone bleed, so I don't know. And Mojo got real scared at it, so I don't know what it is. Maybe he'll win the Rumble and we'll find out. Ooh, I doubt it.
Or maybe we'll never find out, because there's no chance we're ever going to find out what's in the cage.
They probably don't even know what's in the cage, to be completely honest. But I guess it adds some kind of intrigue. I just want to fucking know, just so I could be like, okay, I'll either be disappointed or it might be really cool. Who knows? But yeah, there's a bunch of people announced for the men's Rumble. The women's side of things, I believe Charlotte Flair's the only one that's announced herself as in the Rumble. You know what I like about the women's Royal Rumble the most is that we're always guaranteed some surprises because there's less women on the roster than men.
Yeah, it's a thinner roster, so you gotta
like that. I like that. I like
that too.
Also,
the first year it was classic stars. Last year it was NXT.
I hope it's a mixture.
I think we're gonna get a mix of both, and I think it's gonna be fantastic. I think that's the perfect way to do it.
Victoria in the Rumble. If anybody, like, please, Victoria needs a spot to shine. She is a pioneer of women in the WWE. She was one of the badass women that made women what they are today. Victoria is a legend. She should be in the Hall of Fame, and she should be recognized by WWE, and she never is. So I want anyone listening to know that Victoria should be in the Rumble. Anyway, can I talk to you about Sarah Logan for a minute? Because I'm a fan of Sarah Logan. I think she has a lot of talent, and I'm really bummed out that they broke up the Riot Squad, which I think was completely unnecessary in the beginning, because I think they're better as a unit than they are separate. I'll talk about Liv in a minute. But Sarah was on Raw this week. She actually got a little bit of a chance to actually shine. She toe-to-toe with Charlotte Flair. I know Charlotte ended up beating her up. But minutes are everything on Raw, on SmackDown, in WWE. Yep. You have 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to go out there and make someone talk about you. And hey, if anyone is talking about Sarah Logan, I'm going to be talking about Sarah Logan, because I think she's a talented lady, and I hope that there's something for her. I think the problem with Sarah Logan is that she can be a little bland in her character work, but I think with time and a little bit of effort put into her, I don't think that's going to be an issue. She should be with the Viking Raiders. If I had a say in anything, she'd be with the Viking Raiders, because it's obviously a natural fit, and I think they would add something to the Viking Raiders, who I think are quite boring. Just putting that out there. I think they're great in the ring. I think they have a cool shtick for an entrance. I don't have any interest in them talking, and I don't have any kind of involvement in them as a character. They're just the dudes that dress up like Vikings to me. I think that Sarah Logan could add something to that, because you add a manager in there, you add more elements, and you give them three people a chance to kind of develop and shine. That would be my crazy world booking of that. But Sarah Logan got a chance to shine, and I think it comes to a point when we're at the Rumble where we need to put more women on the screen. That has been a very big problem with the women's division. I think is that the height of the women's division, the very top of the women's division, is very good, but it lacks depth, especially on Raw. And I think Sarah Logan getting an opportunity with Charlotte, although it was small and although Charlotte stood tall, it's something. It's a start. When was the last time you can actually say Sarah Logan was on Raw?
You could say it's the start of something new.
Oh, man. Let's talk about Liv Morgan for a second.
Okay. You could say we're going to bop to the top.
With Liv Morgan?
Yeah.
Maybe. Last week she professed her love for Lana in the wedding. It was a beautiful moment. A beautiful moment. Beautiful wedding. Top quality stuff. One of my favorites.
I hope that's how my wedding goes.
Me too.
I tweeted it out and I got a lot of attention, so I'm just going to say it. I hope I get booed at my wedding.
Oh, man. What a time. I hope I come out to my own theme music. I don't want this classic shit. I want to come out to
I want to come out to
I'll come out to Bobby Lashley's music. I'm happy with that. Fuck yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's cool. I'll come out to Lana's music.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I could see that. But yeah, Liv Morgan, she's going to be involved in this story a little bit further. Now, this week on Raw, I feel like they took a little bit of a step back because of the kind of negativity surrounding just that little section of the wedding. I don't think a problem was with the whole wedding. A lot of people don't like that kind of trashy stuff. It's what I live for in wrestling. It's my favorite part of wrestling, is that train wreck style of wrestling. That entertainment. There is the word entertainment in sports entertainment, and that is the 100% over-the-top entertainment part that I love the most. Everyone knows how I feel about the wedding. Everyone knows how I feel about the storyline. But the Liv Morgan stuff was what people were kind of like a bit like on. Me and you kind of said our point. We don't necessarily have that much of a problem with it. I think it just kind of adds to it. But they did seem to take a little bit of a step back on Raw this week. They're still very much involving Liv, but I think they're going to step away from the whole love kind of stuff with it. So we'll see where it goes. But I say to you, I think in a few months' time, I think by the time we get to WrestleMania, Liv Morgan is going to be treated, if all goes well and she's treated consistently and given opportunities, I think Liv Morgan could be something special. Because that's all I see. I see the word potential across her forehead every time I see her. There's something with her, but I'm not exactly sure what it is.
She's got the look. She's got charisma about her.
She can talk, too.
Yeah, we haven't really seen enough. I don't know if we've seen enough of her in the ring.
That would be the
That would be the missing ingredient. But yeah, we don't know. Maybe she might be really good. It's crazy how she was in NXT for a pretty long time and never really did anything.
Yeah, she didn't do a lot.
Got to the main roster. got surrounded with the right people, and now she is a potential breakout star.
Yep. I think she's got a very bright future. Because no matter what, any press is good press in WWE, I think. She's gonna have a lot of eyes on her. She's gonna have a lot of eyes on her from this stuff, for better or for worse. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah. Conrad said it the best. I said it. That wedding equaled the ratings. It got their biggest number in months on Raw with the overrun. They had an overrun, which I hadn't had on Raw in a while. So, and YouTube numbers are big. A lot of online traction, and we're still talking about it a week and a half later. So, this storyline works to me.
So mad.
I have been very much kind of waving that flag for this story for the last month or two, because I think it's working. But I guess that is the way we're going to end this up. We've been going for a little bit longer than 2 hours, so we do need to wrap it up. Again, if you want to donate, do so you see all the information that you need to on screen. I'll keep the tip jar open for a little bit longer for donations. Of course, that tip jar is always open anyway, if you ever want to just tip me. But for this portion of the thing, none of this is going to me, of course. 100% to these two wonderful organizations. Please keep Australia in your thoughts, in your hearts, because we're still going through this. This is not the end by any means. I am so happy right now because as I'm ending this stream, not that it's necessarily needed right here, it is pouring down with rain. So I want it to rain every fucking day, countrywide. I will never complain about rain again in my entire life because I just want it to rain. Please, that's all I never really ask too much of anybody. I'm pretty the kind of guy that's just kind of supporting everybody and listening to everybody's stuff and promoting the heck out of views. But if I ask anything, it's just please keep us in your thoughts and your prayers for this country, because a lot of people are losing their homes and their lives and all those animals and stuff like that that are dying. I do not want koalas to become an endangered species in this country because it is one of our iconic things as a koala. And just seeing all these really distressing pictures of these bushfires are pretty intense, and the videos and stuff like that, not fun at all for this country to go through. So any kind of help is very much appreciated. If it's donation, if you've just supported me throughout this week, trust me, I can never repay you for that kind of stuff. Thank you to everybody in the chat for being here. For anyone listening on the podcast, thank you for listening. Make sure to rate this podcast 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a like. Give me a follow on Twitch for more stuff like this. This might not be the only fundraiser I do. I don't know. We'll see how things going. Just very much appreciated from the bottom of my heart. I truly do thank you. If I can speak on behalf of Australia, thank you. Thank you for the world just looking at us right now and helping us, because we definitely need it. Kevin, anything else you want to kind of add?
I love you all. And I really hope that things get better in Australia. I'm glad that it's sort of caught on over here. I was a little worried that it might be something that gets swept under the rug with everything else going on over here in America nowadays. But
there's a lot of evil going on in the world right now, guys.
It's really, really heartening to see that people are taking up the mantle and donating and just spreading the word.
Yeah, that's all I can ever ask. If it's just a spread, you see my Twitter feed, guys. I'm not going to stop talking about these bushfires at all because there's a lot going on, and I don't want people to forget that this is happening. And all the celebrity and media attention this is getting is a good thing, because it just means more people are going to help out, and less people are going to be untreated for in their times of distress. If I can end on anything, it is something of a positive message here, is that in the state of New South Wales on the east coast of Australia, a man lost his house, lost all his belongings. Yesterday, he won the lottery for $1 million, and I just cannot be like, that's just like the greatest story I seen on the news yesterday, and I'm like, that's a person that deserves to win the lottery. That is a person that deserves that $1 million. And the first thing he said he's going to do is go and give his wife a kiss, and I was like, that's just beautiful. So I'm like,
that's touching.
That's just a beautiful story. Thank you, everyone that has joined us, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.